choosing colleges, most important thing to remember is that in terms of US colleges, the application process is more an art than a science, which I think is very different from the experience of people who have applied to the United Kingdom, for example. And when you go on college visits, this is what the admissions officers will tell you. There's no one single magic formula. There's no one single set of qualifications or one thing that really stands out. It's an amalgamation of things. It's also the context of the applicant pool that particular year at that particular college. Geographical location is very important in choosing a college, and I usually by high school, I think parents and students have some idea. Obviously, if you're in a British school like Tanglin, you most likely will be going to the UK, and if you're in the American school, you're very well prepared to go to the United States. I remember years ago when this discussion was going on and I was a young parent, I remember an expert coming in and said people discuss this endlessly, and in the end a well-educated child in any system is a well-educated child. So for me, it was a simple decision. My children were at the American school. They were used to that system. They didn't want to declare a major straight away, so the States was the question. But the issue becomes which coast, East Coast or West Coast? And people in the States often say, if you choose the East Coast, you're likely to be there for a long time post-college because your internships tend to be there and you don't move. And if you're a sort of West Coast kid, you're a West Coast kid. And some students know. What my experience is, children from cities such as Singapore and other cities in Asia, our kind of kids like to be in big cities. If it's the West Coast, they tend to want to be in LA, and most of them like to be within 2 or 3 hours of New York. So it's DC, New York, Boston, Philadelphia. And that's a little bit of a loss, both for the universities and I think sometimes for our kids, because a lot of the smaller schools that are inland and are in small towns have a lot to offer: individual care, great professors, good internships, a lot of grants, and they're looking for that diversity. And our kids have a very good chance of going to really good schools, but when they walk in, their first reaction is, oh dear, there's no diversity here. And when you ask these colleges what is the international component of your intake, and they'll say, oh, it's between 2 and 4%. That seems to be a standard. And even of that 4%, 2 are children who are ethnically different but from the state. So they're Americans, but they might be American Indians or Taiwanese, American Taiwanese. So the actual international component in many of these small colleges is really minuscule, and it's something that's off-putting to students that go from Asia. So I think my advice in retrospect, having gone through the process to parents, is have faith in your child. My advice to parents would be to have faith in your child and to have faith in the counselor. Often as a parent, a well-intentioned parent, we understand the concept of a reputation of a college, rankings are important, the choice of subjects that are being offered is important, but we don't always appreciate this idea of what might be a good fit for my child, for his personality, for his interests, for what he wants. And fit encompasses so many things: geographical location, diversity, interests, whether you can play sport the whole year, which you can't in many places on the East Coast. So various things. So I think have faith in the teenager. They do a lot of research themselves, unknown often to parents, and have faith in the counselor.